Tonight, storm warning. Perth on alert for more wild weather after a day of hailstones and damaged houses.
You're watching 7 News.
Good evening and welcome to 7 News. Also tonight, targeted by terrorists, the Australian who survived the Jakarta bombings.
And a top docker linked to a late-night brawl.
We're being warned to stay indoors tonight as another blast of winter's fury hits Perth this evening. In a moment, the latest live from the Weather Bureau. But first, Emmy Kabansky on today's ice storm that brought hail, wild winds and a trail of damage across the suburbs.
Central Perth pelted with hail this morning. The closest our city gets to snow. St George's Terrace, a blanket of white. Most of it melted by lunchtime, but still enough to marvel at. Viewers sent pictures. A backyard in Mundaring, a lawn in Serpentine, a handful of hailstones in Swanview, Christmas in July in High Wycombe, a downpipe clogged in Carlisle. Last night's storms saw Perth blasted by winds of almost 100 kilometres an hour, bringing heartache to scores of householders across Perth and the southwest. This East Victoria Park home flooded.
Things happen, you realise what's precious to you. So.
With no insurance, all Vicky's family could do was save their cat and photos. There was widespread heavy rainfall, as seen on the 7 weather radar from midnight to this afternoon. Gale force winds blew the roof of this Australind home, where more hailstones fell. Strong gusts tore roofing sheets off the workshop of a Toyota dealership in Rockingham. Despite this deluge of wet weather, the rainfall for July is still well below the average for the month. And the water isn't making it into our dams either, which are still at 31.5% capacity. And as Rottnest ferries battled swells of up to 6 metres, the Weather Bureau warned there's more to come. Emmy Kabansky, 7 News.
Now for the latest on tonight's storm heading for Perth, and Sally Bari joins us live from the Weather Bureau. Sally, what can you tell us?
So tonight we can expect gale force winds gusting up to around 110 kilometres an hour as that low just starts to slowly move closer towards the coast. Now squally thunderstorms are expected into tonight. We might see some more small hail, some good doses of wet weather across the southwest, and also tides will be fairly high. In fact, we're seeing swell up to around the 6 metre mark. It might peak around the 7 metre mark into tonight. Now, of course, we do have that severe weather warning current, and I'll just recap that's current for the lower west, the southwest, the central wheat belt, the Great Southern and the far south of the central west. But I'll have full details in tonight's weather bulletin.
Thanks, Sally. And Jeff will be back tomorrow. That's 7 News this Monday.
News breaks later. Now Monica's back with Today Tonight.
Thanks, Rick and Sue. Hello again. Good to be back. As you've heard, Perth's in for a wild night tonight. Strong winds, rain and even hail has buffeted the metro area today, with even more turbulence forecast to start any moment now. Joining us live from the city south is Graham Butler. Graham, how's it going out there?
Monica, good evening. Well, as you can see, it's fairly wild and woolly here tonight. This is the storm we've been hearing about all day. The Bureau told me a short time ago that conditions here at the coast are gusting now to about 90 kilometres an hour, though we expect that's going to get a whole lot worse as the evening moves on, probably 100, 110 kilometres an hour, which of course is damaging winds, which is what we're quite concerned about tonight. On standby, as always in these situations, are our emergency services. They're going to have a very busy night ahead of us. Joining us now is Grant Pipe from FISA, the District Manager. Grant, thanks so much for coming out tonight. What are we expecting this evening?
Look, very much similar conditions to what we've already had, but as of from now and through until midnight, we are expecting sustained winds.
What about more hail, more thunderstorms?
Yeah, look, all of the above. We are expecting all of that, so very important that people take those safety precautions.
Well, let's talk about that. What should people be doing tonight? What can they do to try and avoid more damage?
Yeah, good place to be at home tonight, but we'd ask if, even if you are at home and storms approach, that you move away from windows in case they shatter or break, and just stay safe.
Now, I realise that this is a slightly different storm to last night. That was a front that came through in the early hours of this morning. This is a different system. It's going to be more sustained, more squally winds. Do we have any idea, Grant, at this stage, which is going to be the worst time for tonight?
Yeah, Certainly do. Look, we're expecting it at 8 o'clock tonight that it will peak, and that's when we're expecting our most damaging winds.
Which areas are you most concerned about? We hear a lot about Rockingham, those sorts of areas, or Tornado Alley we dub it. Are they areas of concern for you tonight?
Look, with the widespread damaging, the whole metropolitan area is concerned to us, and there's really no area of any greater significance than others, but just the whole metropolitan area.
So just wrapping that up, Mon, as we said, winds tonight in excess of 100, maybe 110 kilometres an hour. Again, more hail like we had last night, squally winds, thunderstorms, lightning. So the advice, of course, is stay in unless you have to go out. In terms of securing items, it's probably starting to get a little bit late for that. That's the sort of advice you should have heeded earlier in the day. But I guess, you know, run into trouble, contact the SES is the advice. So from here in Fremantle on a fairly squally night, it's back to you in the studio, Monica.
That's an understatement. It's certainly windy where you are. Graham Butler there, and our newsroom will have more weather details throughout the evening.